happy new month. Welcome to the month of December. It's finally the last month of the year. What a long it's been, Cynthia.
Yes.
You know, when I was in church yesterday, people danced so much. It felt like everybody had so much problems and they were just waiting to pour it. People were so excited, and that energy could be seen in the air. When I got into the camp today, everybody was just excited. Oh, we don't enter December. Happy new month. So there's this breath of fresh air that comes with the month of December. First of all, it is that of reflection. Then it is that of reflection generally, and gratitude.
Gratitude.
Usually the months of gratitude and reflection, you reflect what have you achieved all through the year. All of you that wrote your goals, I remember Cynthia and I, we sat here and said, oh, work on goals, you know, set out those goals, write them down. Cynthia was giving people motivational speeches.
Was I?
Yes, you were. I remember the first IMD for this year. Cynthia was saying, let's aspire to, okay, maybe not Cynthia, but yeah. But the person was saying, you have to be inspired, you have to be motivated, and all of that English. Now, I'm just asking our viewers, where are we with that? We are here in December. Almost a year later, I hope you've achieved them. But if you haven't achieved them, especially if it's by no result of yours, please don't beat yourself too much. But if it was because you were recalcitrant or because you were, you know, laid back or just tired or inconsistent, hello, you have to beat yourself up. But we can try again next year, I guess. Our plus, before Cynthia says anything, is World AIDS Day today. It's 1st of December. Yes. And it's very critical because we are still marking the 16 days of activism. I remember that last year, 16 days of activism, Idea TV.
And I've not started hearing jingle bells.
Oh, Cynthia, on my street, you can already see the trees. Oh, it's feeling like Christmas already. Okay. And I'm seeing some pictures of some places in Nigeria.
Okay, I think I can feel it in the air, but then I've just been wondering, Cynthia, because of all that is happening in Nigeria, I'm just saying, I'm wondering how people are going to spend the Christmas. Is it going to be jiggy or... Well, there's a mixed feeling here for me because coming to work this morning, I was hearing on radio. I think that's the first jingle bell I've heard since. Okay, we just entered December, but before now, you would have started from hearing October. Jingle bell from October. Yeah. But the only thing I know is that I've not gotten my Christmas clothes, and this is the only Christmas. Now I must look for a way to buy something for myself. But then it's good to start our morning with you. Now we want to, like we always tell you, if you like what we do here, we do things around science, innovation, technology, education, tech, research, policy, and whatnot. All of these issues surrounding our everyday life. This is the right place to be. You can send in your thoughts, send in your ideas, send in your comments. Or you can wish us a Merry Christmas in advance. Send it to us on our social media and those at Idea Television, of course, via email at Idea TV Limited. Okay, we want to hear from you.
All right, with that, let's quickly look at the headlines that we'll be looking at this morning. Military rescues 12 girls abducted by ISWAP in BORNO. You'll also be seeing that resident doctors suspend 29-day nationwide strike. And you'll also be seeing that Paul Biya appoints TSANGA MBA WILLIE as head of Cameroon's Port Authority. And you'll also see that federal government is set to modernize livestock farming to curb farmer-herder clashes.
Okay, I think we'll now go on a quick break and we'll be back with the stories proper.
Nothing is easy. Nothing is free. If you want to be successful, you have to pay the price. Nothing is free. Nothing is easy. Easy means you have to think different. You have to do different. For example, early days in my company, when some ideas come to my desk, Jack, this is a great idea, and I look at everybody. Everybody say it is a good idea, I normally throw into the rubbish. Because everybody say it is good, then all the other people think of. If everybody say this is going to be very, come to my desk, Jack, this is a great idea, and I look at everybody. Everybody say it is a good idea, I normally throw into the rubbish. Because everybody say it is good, then all the other people think of. If everybody say this is going to be very tough, I'm very interested in that tough question. And I pick up and say, how can we do in a different way? This is to be unique, to be different.
Welcome back from that very brief break. We are pumped up for the season, while hopeful that all the cases of insecurity and insurgency in our country is, brought to book and those abducted are released. But let's head on to the story now. We see that troops of Operation Hadinkai, OPHK, have rescued 12 girls abducted by ISWAP terrorists in Musa district, Askira Uba local government area of Borno state. The victims, who are aged 15 to 20, were kidnapped last Sunday while harvesting crops on their families' farmlands. Those rescued include Fatima Shaibu, Fatima Umaru, who is 15, Hawa Abubakar 18, Saliha Muhammad 15, Sadia Umaru 17, Amira Babel 15, Zara Damu 17, Nana Shaibu 15, Zainab Musa 18, Zainab Muhammad 17, Jamila Saidu 15, and Hawa Hamidu 17. The girls have been taken to a secure military facility for medical checks and profiling before being reunited with their families. The rescue follows intensified military operations in southern Borno, targeting ISWAP cells behind recent attacks and abductions. Cynthia, this story breaks my heart again. I do not think that for this whole month we've not reported, or in fact, this whole year, but especially this last few months or last few weeks, we've seen many cases of abductions and we've been reporting it, and I don't know how to feel. This is a rescue story and I'm supposed to be excited, but when I think about the trauma, when I think about the conditions, when I think about the health hazards that those girls may have gone through, have you seen that they are still teenagers? These are teenagers who were on farmlands, farming, harvesting crops, and they were still abducted. I like that the president said on the paper this morning that the days of these terrorists are numbered. I wanted to translate real into actions. Because how can we keep seeing stories like this? Military rescuing 12 girls, so we rescued to kidnap more, to abduct more. We heard about the rescue in Kwara, and then the next week there was another abduction. So this is not the life. This is not the life. I know they're going to go through medical checks and profiling and all of that, but can we see how rehabilitation is going to be very hard and reintegrating them into the society is hard? First of all, do we have the adequate facilities to even give them that care? I doubt that we do. Go to our trauma care centers in Nigeria. There are a few of them, very few. And the way the people are treated, because there's like a whole line. So every day there's like 50 more people who have just been kidnapped, victims who have just been abducted. And how do you think that they are supposed to function normally in a society? I commend the military for this rescue, but we can't keep rescuing people. We must get to the root of the matter.
Chinatu, I don't know how to feel about this again. I think this whole kidnapping thing or abduction thing has been happening concurrently, and in as much as I want to start with saying this is good news, I cannot say this is good news, because any day young girls are pulled out of the hands of terrorists, I feel like it's a win for humanity. It's victory for humanity. But it's also, I mean, why I'm very sad about this news again, having to see this happen again, is because it keeps on reminding me of how vulnerable our, rural communities are, and how unsafe our rural communities are, especially in the north east. These girls were taken in the middle of farming. I mean, in the middle of the night, they were farming. Not like they were harvesting. They were harvesting crops.
Yes.
Not like they were, in places they shouldn't be. They were in their farms. They were trying to make a living. They were trying to earn a living. They were trying to feed themselves and their family and their families as well. So I feel like while I can commend the what do they call them, Operation Hadinkai, because I mean, these rescues I do not think just happen by chance. This is when we talk about, when we always talk about the community taking action for themselves, taking things into their own hands. This is what we talk about. So I feel like this didn't happen by chance. It happened because there were some sort of, should I say, energy, seriousness, intentionality put into rescuing these girls. But then we still have to ask so many questions. So many things comes to my mind. always talk about, since this whole adoption starts to resurface again, I've been asking myself, why soft targets? Why women and children? Why girls? Why churches? Why rural communities? Why? I mean, are we saying that our farmlands are no longer safe? Are we saying that communities are no longer safe? Because the more communities continues to be, exposed to all of this terrorism and whatnot, it means that terrorists are out there, even in our own vicinity, even in places we think they are not in. They're already around there. Some of their cells are being stationed in all of these places, and they are roaming freely, because if they can, it's a whole lot. Because I start to think, why I was on the radio, I was hearing that there's another one that happened in Kogi State.
I mean, I saw the papers too.
I mean, I begin to wonder, what is the strategy? Why are these things happening concurrently? Because is it that they are beginning to see it as a means to get money so that they can get more ammunitions? Or why are they doing this? What's the joy in it? Because these are the people you people are looking at. I mean, the leaders and whatnot and some other places, but why must you go to these soft targets first before you get to where you want to get to, or call the attention of who you want to call? And for me, I just feel like the Northeast is becoming very unsafe for especially women and girls. It's becoming very, very unsafe for them. This humanitarian crisis, because this is a humanitarian crisis, like I always call it. It's not even just a security issue, an insecurity issue for me. It's a humanitarian crisis, and it's going to persist unless we find long-term strategy to, stabilize this whole system. We cannot keep risking these rescue headlines. Today we are seeing that they have adopted how many girls or this or that, and then tomorrow they have rescued how many. We are celebrating rescues here and there, because it's more like a celebratory news to me. It's like, and it's not giving me any comfort, because I want to see reality check. I want to see, to me, this news should come out as a pressure for military to be consistent, to apply intelligence in their operation, and also other developmental follow-ups to ensure that security is met to its very core. But then we have to move to the next news. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has suspended its nationwide strike after 29 days, restoring medical services across the country. Which began on November 1st, was called off on Saturday following an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting. NARD Secretary General Dr. Shuaibu Ibrahim confirmed the suspension. About 11,000 resident doctors across 91 federal and state teaching hospitals had withdrawn their services during the industrial action, significantly disrupting healthcare delivery. Dr. Ibrahim said the suspension followed the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the federal government based on 7 key demands. 2 of the demands, release of the professional allowance table and approval for entry-level placement at CONMES, 3 have already been implemented. The remaining 5 demands, including the reinstatement of local doctors, payment of arrears, upgrades for eligible doctors, specialist allowance, and the resolution of the membership certificate issue, are expected to be addressed within 4 weeks. He warned that NARD would resume the strike if the government fails to meet the outstanding commitments within the agreed timeline. 29 days without resident doctors. Very dangerous. I think we are playing with fire at this point in time. Doctors keep going on strike in Nigeria, and in that 29 days, I cannot lie that the country did not feel it. I feel like the country felt it, because resident doctors are like the core. They are like a very important aspect. They are like backbone of Nigeria's public healthcare system. So when everything stops working, when doctor stops working, I feel like almost everything stops working, because it's more like your body is, imagine your body is working and then you fall sick and then you cannot do anything, and then you're going to the hospital to get, treatment immediately, and nobody is there to answer. Everything stops. everything in your life stops. Everything in even Nigeria stops, because that part you are contributing to stops too. So I feel like this suspension, I can't call this a good news. I don't know. All of these stories today they're like in two sides. It's two sides of the coin. It's like it's good news, it's bad news somehow, because we watch this cycle play out countless times. We've seen so many times where agreements have been made, MOUs have been signed, there were partial implementations made, and then we go all over the whole thing again. We go all over the phase again. We go back to the beginning of the cycle and we keep turning again, and then there is new strike threats. So I feel like it's almost like every MOU is like, how would I even put it, like a ticking bomb. It's like, okay, yes, you need quick action before it's going to explode. But then my concern here is that, why do conversations around healthcare workers and welfare always get to, be pushed to the brink before the government begin to act, before government know that they are supposed to do something? If 2 out of 7 demands, according to them, there are 7 demands made. If 2 out of 7 demands were already, implemented, that means the government can deliver when it wants to do it. So why is the remaining 2, or the remaining how many? The remaining 5, rather, waiting to be implemented? What is holding it back? What do they need to sign again? What do they need to see? This is an MOU, this is an agreement that has already been signed. So what do they need to sign again? The remaining 5 should take another 29 days again of suffering. So it's like we have to go through a cycle or some cycles of suffering before one agreement is met. Then after that one, we have to go through another one again before another one is met. So I think these issues of allowances, placements, reinstatements, all of these things are more like a structural problem, and we keep saying these things. They are more like a structural problem, because fixing healthcare, the healthcare system, isn't just about bringing buildings, bringing equipment, or many other things. It's also about those people that hold the system. That is what we fail to understand. It's about them. It's about these people. The doctors are the people that hold the system. The people working in hospitals, the people working in healthcare system, healthcare facilities or whatnot, are the people holding the system. So it's not the bed there, it's not the stethoscope, it's not those equipments there or the operating machines there. It's these people, because without these people, those machines will not work. So I feel like, and there's another thing, and we've been talking about it, brain drain and all of these are the reason. These are the reason why you hear doctors moving out of the country and going outside to seek, better lives. We are losing consultants every day. We are losing specialists every day. We are losing doctors. We are losing bright brains, good brains every day in Nigeria, all because, there's this system of not keeping to what was agreed upon. And so it's a problem. And the remaining that are left here are just how many? And we are far below our doctor to, persons or to patients ratio. The remaining doctors here, that means that the remaining doctors here are stretched, or not just even stretched, they are overstretched thin at this point in time. So what do you expect them to do? So if remuneration is not competitive, working conditions are not good, everything remains challenging in the country, hospitals are dilapidated, everything is not even working well in the country, then we'll keep negotiating our healthcare system at the cost of what I don't even know. So I feel like this is where the government needs to come in, saying they are fixing 2 and the remaining 5 are going to be working. It's like they are standing on a weaker position, and I feel like this is the time they need to stand on stronger positions, and government must act within those 4 weeks.
Government must act within those 4 weeks. I don't know if there's a stronger statement than that resolve. You've heard Cynthia. And it breaks my heart again to see that the education sector and the health sector are 2 sectors that are usually very hit when strikes happen. And these sectors are very critical for any nation that takes development very seriously, which is why I'm very surprised that they have to go on strike to drive home their point. I do not ever believe or want people in the education or health sector to go on strike, because the ripple effect it has on the nation It's not quantifiable. And so these resident doctors, like Cynthia has pointed out, if the needs are not met again, they'll strike back. And because it feels like we are working in a government or with a government that understands only the language of strike. So we want to see more people die. Because that's what happens. More people get to die. And when Cynthia was saying that, oh, we are negotiating and she doesn't know what we're negotiating. Well, I have an answer. We are negotiating at the expense of the lives and the health of people. That's what we are negotiating with the health sector for at this point. And we can't keep doing this. I don't want to dwell on this because Cynthia has really touched on it and time is not on our side. So let us move on to the next story where we see that President Paul Biya has appointed TSANGA WILLIE as the new head of Cameroon's National Port Authority following the death of his predecessor, Louis Ebubeke, in December 2024. The appointment was announced on November 28. TSANGA WILLIE, who has served as a technical advisor at the APPOINTS since 2015 and previously as Director of Communications, regarded as one of the institution's most experienced insiders. His appointment comes as Cameroon's port sector recorded mixed performance in 2024. Total domestic and transit cargo dropped slightly by 1% from 27.15 million tons in 2023 and in 2024. The port of Douala, the country's main maritime hub, was the bright spot. Its traffic rose by 6% to 12.92 million tons, strengthening its role in regional trade. Kribi's traffic held steady at 10.84 million tons, while Limbe saw a sharp 23% decline, losing 957,162 tons in 1 year. While ongoing modernization projects continue across the sector, particularly in Douala, where construction and rehabilitation works aim to ease congestion and improve efficiency. In Limbe, feasibility studies for the Ngeme Deep Water Port project are being updated as part of efforts to expand Cameroon maritime capacity. With its extensive internal experience, TSANGA Mbala steps into the role at a critical time where key priorities ahead include improving the performance of underperforming ports, fast-tracking infrastructure projects, and strengthening Cameroon's competitiveness against rising regional hubs. About time, if you ask me. And do you know the fun, interesting thing about this? TSANGA WILLIE, he's taking over from his predecessor who died last year, 2024. 1 year after, there's now an appointment. So did you see that gap? And for me, for succession, this is not a good thing. Because, because you didn't have to wait for a whole 1 year for your port to suffer. They've now suffered significant losses. And now, Cameroon has gone through a tough time in terms of its politics. We saw the recent election and how it turned out, and how the people reacted. So that could also have been a problem. I can't say for sure, but it's possible that that was also a major factor. But now you see how one level of indecision and lack of succession can cause a harm to the nation. That's why this story was important to me. There was now a gap, and nobody filled that gap. And what happened? The country suffered. Today you would see that Cameroon is going through a lot. Some of the citizens talk about hardship, how they are hungry, how some of them are still battling with light, battling with basic amenities. And then there's a president who may or may not really understand what the people are going through. And so for me, it's not just about appointing. It's about ensuring that this person who comes into power now is ready to do the work. Because one thing I know about the port is it creates a series of job opportunities for young people. It attracts investment into the country. It expands modernization. It just brings innovation on the whole. And that's what I'm looking out for Cameroon. Cameroon is a country that is dear to my heart. And when I see some of the citizens complaining about hardship, I just wonder, because just like Nigeria, Cameroon is blessed. But there's still a problem of utilizing that blessing. So I hope that there is a huge change with Sala now, or Sanga now, in place.
Maybe I can say so far since the two news we've read, this is maybe the better news. Yeah, this I can give the good news. Because, this is something, I feel like this shift, what Cameroon is doing, this upgrade, this port upgrade is going to kind of bring a good turnaround when it comes to African trade and also with exports too, because I mean Willie Sanga is, according to them, he is an insider. It's not like they brought somebody from outside. That's why I was like, okay, but then I understood your point. You were talking about the gap, but then I feel like even after the gap, bringing an insider, somebody who knows,
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, it's better to fill that gap and see how they are going to turn around this system. Because I think what Cameroon needs at this point in time is more of efficiency, modernization too, because some of those ports have been sitting there and running on old stock. So I think this is more like, and even for that regional competitiveness, because I see that Nigeria is trying to, revitalize their own ports, and these are countries that we have some sort of boundaries, borders rather, with. So I think it's good for for that regional competitiveness. I think it's good for Cameroon too as well, because we've seen, according to them, Limbe, if I'm not mistaken, experienced like a sharp decline of 23%, and that's where you were talking about the gap in infrastructure and a whole lot of things. And we see why that gap is because of that lack of infrastructure, not even because of, I know leadership is very important. To have somebody steering the wheel is very important. But then, if there was proper infrastructure put in place, if there was, if the structure was built on good foundations, I felt like it would have, somehow managed the situation in the absence of the former person handling that position. So, but we saw that other ports were doing better, like Douala and what's the name of the other one? Is it Kribi and whatnot? But Limbe was the only one that suffered. But I feel like this is a very good turnaround altogether. And I mean, Douala even experienced up to like 6% rise, and it's good for them. It's good business. I think it's good business for import and export, and also for people who are reliant on that corridor. So I think it's a good news altogether. I'm just saying good because I feel like it's a good news, and it's becoming, it just shows that our leadership when it comes to African maritime, because I'm saying that because of the news I read about Nigeria too, they're becoming more strategic. Scale ranching schemes, improved animal husbandry, and fully integrating the livestock value chain into the national economy. According to the president, the initiative is designed to transform the livestock sector into a structured and productive industry that creates jobs, supports food security, and promotes peaceful coexistence in communities affected by years of violent clashes. The move follows expert recommendation, combining ranching with regulated open grazing alongside new collaborations aimed at expanding livestock infrastructure. The government says it is also strengthening security agencies, advancing efforts towards state police, and expanding social investment programs to support vulnerable citizens and young entrepreneurs. National infrastructure upgrades from road and rail networks to power systems are expected to complement the new livestock reforms and help stabilize conflict-prone agricultural regions. What can I say? It's something that we have waited for a very long time, and we are finally keen into it and seeing more reasons why they should, turn around this sector, because we've seen issues of header farmers, even in Ogun State, not just in the north, even not just in the north central as well, even in the west. We're seeing all of those farmer header clashes, and what I can say, and we've tagged them. One thing is that we have tagged them as security issues, and some of them are not. I cannot say to put it in perspective. I cannot say for a fact that it is a security issue. I think most of them are majorly economic issue. I can even say they are cultural issue to an extent, and even because of lack of infrastructure too. Those are the things. I think the factors that have been causing some of these header and farmers clashes. So when I hear the government talk about modernizing all of these ranches, animal husbandry reforms, and integrating livestock rather for good value chain, I think it is good. But like I always say, there's a but. We've heard these promises before. We've heard things like this before. I mean, what Nigerians want at this point in time is not just to come out and say, we'll stop open grazing. Open grazing is not helping us. We need to include our value chain. Nigerians want real action at this point in time. We want land identification. Let people come out and say, this is my land. Show certificates, you know. Let there be proper ranch development too as well. Because if you are telling people to go back to ranches, where are the ranches? Are they made available for people? What about lands are very expensive now? I remember a field study I carried out. To rent a land to farm is not cheap at all. I mean, you pay weekly, and they also need to see how they can support these pastoralists, because in Nigeria we've taken pastoring as more like a more like it's for, how do they call these people? It's for some set of people. I don't want to call the names of some set of people in the country, but anybody can go into, you know, pastoral farming. Anybody can go into this thing. So let the government show support for our pastoralists to transition. Let's, you know, even local government, we need local government intervention. I'm tired of everything coming from the federal government. Let us begin to kind of give monopolies to states too, to make the decisions, because they know better how to make the decisions and what it's good for them at this point in time according to their realities. And I feel like this is a right step, because open grazing now is not the way to go at all. It's no longer sustainable for a country like Nigeria with all what we are going through. One, with our population size, when you check it, you see that open grazing is not good at all. And the level of land pressure, the cost of, you know, renting land and all of those things, I feel like it's not good at all. And let's go back to insecurity. Now I can go back to insecurity. It is not good at all. So when the government comes out to say, the president comes out to say, okay, we want to strengthen security agencies, we want to see how states can advance state police, you know, I feel like it is very crucial, and these are some of the angles we should shift it to as well. Not just even for this abduction we have been talking about, or, you know, terrorism and whatnot, because these are some of the things fueling all of those things. So at the end of the day, I don't think we can modernize agriculture if we don't secure our communities. Yes.
I like the way you put it, because I see videos sometimes, or people who come out, people who farm, and they come out to show you videos they make of their farm, where some people take their cows to graze on the farmlands. And how? So you see that, like you pointed out, there is a system problem. There is no proper coexistence, because you two are farming. You have crops, I have stocks, livestock, and we are supposed to coexist. But you can't bring a livestock into a farmland to graze, to destroy the crops. And so part of the modernization strategy is to construct ranches across different places. And it's about time we already did that. But more than constructing those ranches, we have to make sure that the ranches are enough. And there is adequate monitoring. Because some of the herders' clashes is simple. Either there's language barrier, communities do not understand each other, so there's no peaceful coexistence. And so I have to spite it by just bringing my cows to your farms, and that's it. So I like that we are getting more aware of this issue. Since is not a security issue, but I think it is, because when you are hungry, majorly, okay, yeah, because hunger it's part of a security problem, more than economy. So I really want to see how modern this can get. Sometimes we use really good words. We want to modernize livestock, to, you know, decrease farmer herders clashes. Let us see it practically. We've had many farms, or many people who are no longer able to get their products from the farm to the market, because before it comes to term, it's been destroyed already. What does that tell to the economy? What does that tell to the life and property? And so they start fighting, and there's a clash. Those clashes start in bits. So let us, I'm counting on the federal government to ensure that they really do curb the farmer herders clashes through a modernized way of farming. But that's the most we can take now. So we'll quickly look at the headlines and then go on a break that we brought your way. We told you that military rescues 12 girls abducted by ISWAP in BORNO.
And resident doctors suspend 29-day nationwide strike.
You also heard that BIYA appoints TSANGA WILLIE as head of Cameroon's Port Authority.
And lastly, federal government modernized livestock farming to curb farmer-herder clashes.
When we return from this break, we'll be talking about idea artists and entertainers of interest, which is the latest rollout from the Idea TV bulletin side of the work. Let's go on this break now. Stay with us.
(5G) technology. 5G technology promises to be a game changer by delivering ultra-fast internet speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data privacy will remain top concerns as more devices become connected.
Welcome back from that short break. Now we'll be looking at idea artists and entertainers of interest, IAEI. This is the latest rollout from the bulletin sector of Idea TV. Like we've said before, one thing that Idea TV does is to carry out deep research, and we do that by ensuring that we tell the African stories. We're covering the stories, whether it's in research, whether it's in entertainment. I mean, who thought I would do research in entertainment? Cynthia, you see. Research in entertainment, whether it's foundations, whether it's government agencies, whether it's entrepreneurship. It's an all-rounder. And so that's why we have this bulletin. And it takes root in Africa, and what are we saying? And today we've created a global phenomenon. And I know I've mentioned more of Nigerians, since I want to list out other African stars who are in the entertainment or the entertainment scene who are also doing great, not just from Nigeria. I mean, we have the Angelique Kidjo, we have this guy from South Africa now. We have Diamond Platinums. Yeah, we have Diamond Platinums. We have
recently, what's his name? The one that got married to Priscilla.
Oh,
I think he's doing well so far. What's his name? Where did I forget it?
I can't remember, but I know him, the Priscilla's husband.
And so many of them.
Juma Jukes.
Yeah,
he's doing well.
Everybody is dancing and everybody is loving up because of him. And so many.
So it tells you that the African sound is traveling.
Yes, it is.
It tells you the kind of export that we are doing with the entertainment industry. And you look at some of the great artists that we have. When I talk about artists here, it's broad because we have writers, we have filmmakers, we have the people who actually now draw, people like Sloan, we have people who are into even fashion.
Yes.
Some of these fashion items that you see started from sketching. You see what this guy does, Skepta, with Men's London. You see that his fashion brand speaks a lot about Africa, and even though he's in London, his fashion line tells more of gives the African vibe so much. So we sort of live out our lives. We have the Meji, we have many of them. And so they tell the African stories in the entertainment space. And there's a whole level of collaboration. So for instance, Meji does some clothes. And what happens? They have it on artists who sing. These other ashlocks, there are lots of them. And you see them on artists. You see people who draw. So there's a huge space for collaboration. And it is that story that we've been able to capture on the IAEI. That is the Idea Artists and Entertainers of Interest. So we are capturing that story, and we can't capture it and you do not go read it. Look out on our website. The documentary is up. The bulletin is up. Download for free. Emphasis on it's free. You have nothing to pay. The everybody has, I mean, IDTV has paid it all. So your work is to
pay the price.
pay the price by running the research, tireless night, putting out the work, putting out the design, the voiceover, everything to ensure that the documentary, the bulletin is out there for you. And so we can't put all of this work and you're not downloading it. So please, again, it's for free and it's live on our website and it's on our YouTube page. So just watch, share. Do not leave it to yourself. Share. Tell other people to download. Cynthia, you want to comment on this before we mention the people who are featured on this edition?
I think I'm smiling because I'm somebody very inclined to the entertainment world, or with the entertainment world, and I can say this is one of my favorite TV bulletin because, I mean, it gives us that chance to, celebrate, entertainers' excellence. Because when we hear entertainers, when we hear creatives, when we hear artists, when we hear all of these names that have to do with creativity, entertainment, and whatnot, talking of film, music, comedy, arts, we've seen people tend to look at them as if, okay, it's just there, they're just going to have fun and get money, but no, it's beyond that. I like that TV has come out to say, okay, we're going to start celebrating artists and entertainers of interest to interrogate the why behind their excellence, what they have been doing. It's not just about fame, it's about the impact, what they are giving back to their communities, how they are contributing to their communities. Not just contributions, measurable contributions, evidence-based societal impact. And for a long time, African entertainers have been seen less than. They have been seen like they are not polished enough, they are not there enough, talking about when you set them out on the global stage. But then, today, we are seeing how many of our artists, entertainers, and like I said earlier on, when I say artists, entertainers, I'm talking about those in the creative world, talking about people in filmmaking. I mean, just the other day I was talking about, I was celebrating what David Akinola did, how he put out a Polaroid movie, My Father's Shadow. That's the title of the movie. Very, very interesting thing he has done. I mean, that movie was, the film was, how will I put it? It was financed or funded by BBC and so many other international brands. And that is what I talk when I say you are putting Africa's name on the global stage. You are putting Nigeria's name on the global stage. You are representing us how we want to be represented. I mean, I like what so many of them have been doing, the like of Thames. Let me begin to call the women, the like of Yemi Alade. I mean, when you look at Yemi Alade, you see Mother Africa, she screams it. And so these are some of the things we are talking about, seeing how we've been able to put our dance, put our drums, put ourselves, represent ourselves. I'm talking about literally and figuratively. We've put ourselves out there. And I like what Nigerian entertainers have been doing, so far. Idea TV, very good what we have come up with. Very, very good that we did not leave this side. I mean, it's also a chance for us to show what the creative economy can bring back to a country and can also contribute to the world, because this is not just happening by accident. This is intentional. It's about us putting this visionary out there who have refused to sit back and allow their own, field to just be on the side. I mean, if we can even put it into perspective these days, I think entertainers and artists are the ones putting Nigeria on the global stage, because we are seeing so many, controversies coming out from other, fields in Nigeria, from other aspects of Nigeria lives, But then, when we hear Davido, we forget some of the things that are happening in the country. When we hear Wizkid, when we hear, Burna Boy and the likes of all of these people, Don Jazzy, we forget some of the things we are facing in the country, because these people are putting our name, they're putting a good name out there, representing us very well. So I think it's not just, I think it's time we just talk about the honorees. Should I say honorees?
Yes, especially for the inaugural edition. But I must mention that these people that we'll be talking about are those that Idea TV considers their measurable contributions to music, film, creative arts, or even comedy. And we've been able to carry out evidence-based social impact the evaluation. We've seen what they've done, and we've also seen how they've been able to use their platform to address social challenges. So all of those people are not by mistake. It's not about, oh, you have more followers. No, that's not the case. That's the criteria for picking them. So you see that it's well thought out. And that's why I'm not surprised to see that first we have Don Jazzy from Nigeria, who is a music producer and entrepreneur who shaped Afrobeat's global rise through Maven Records, nurturing top talent and mentoring over 2,500 young creatives. Then we also have
Angelique Kidjo, 5-time Grammy winner, who elevated African music globally and founded the Botonga Foundation, empowering thousands of girls and women across Africa through education and economic programs.
And we also have all the way from Egypt, and by the way, Angelique Kidjo is from Benin. So, yes, and we now have Amr Diab from Egypt, who is pioneer of Mediterranean pop. He revolutionized North African music and launched entrepreneurial ventures like hotels, lifestyle brands, and then led major philanthropic efforts, including 5 million EGP for Gaza relief. And then Cynthia.
And lastly, Master KG and Nosembo Zikode from South Africa, creators of Jerusalem.
You remember that Jerusalem?
I have been singing this in my ear.
Jerusalem, it was a hit.
Global hit that united millions during COVID-19 through viral dance challenges, and in MTV Europe and NRJ Music Awards, while demonstrating music's power to heal and connect. There's something I must even comment on with Don Jazzy.
Okay.
Yeah, with Don Jazzy, because I mean, most times when we talk about Afro, if we want to talk about Afrobeat dominance, I can always, for sure, certainly with my full chest, call Don Jazzy's name, because, I mean, he has set that pace. When we want to make, thinking of, what's his name? A very popular,
we'll get his name
I'll get
later.
his name later. And
I'll get his name later.
And we've seen so many of them, and you know, in Nigeria, when we talk about the creative industries, like I say, it's more like a struggle. It's more like a challenge due to so many lacks and wants. Like, it's trying to build that structure. And we're seeing people like him, like Don Jazzy, coming out to build that structure. I mean, from Mohit, which he transitioned to Bengali, was who I was thinking. I'm not sure about the name, but then, yes. But then the band was, yes, I was trying to, the band. But we saw him build Mohit, took it from Mohit to, Marvin's record, and that was huge. And he didn't just discover artists, he discovered talent, he discovered potentials. If you see the wonders Arya Star, you see the wonders Johnny Drill, the wonders Rema, the wonders that even Tiwa Savage is. I call her a wonder. I'm not saying the wonders she has even brought. She is a wonder. I mean, all of the wonders, these people are wonderful people. These are wonderful people. And this man has mentored all of these people, mentored young creatives, not just these musicians. He's mentoring even the people mentoring these people, the management and whatnot, producers, writers, performers. A whole lot of, I mean, he's a university of talents on his own. That's what I can say. And also he's a philanthropist. We see what he's doing out there every day. And one other person to Angelique Kidjo, yes, I grew up listening to, I don't know how to sing this song. I don't want people to laugh at me. Not like I cannot sing, I can sing. But then I think this woman she exudes Africa. She carries Africa on top of her head. I mean, from decades to decades, we've seen her win 5 Grammy, even until this present time, where we have the newbies. She's still winning Grammy. I mean, she won the Grammy before Burna Boy won a Grammy, and he also gave reverence to her somehow, because he had to go back to her and learn from her and receive some, mentorship and talks and whatnot. So I think she has chased that Western validation, that is to put Africa in the fore, put Africa in the world, because she found an opportunity to be on the global stage, but she did not for once say, okay, I've forgotten where I'm from, let me just look and see how I can get Western validation, but she chased it with representing herself as the African that she is. I think most of our African sounds, I can say, is rooted in her, and I admire her a lot, because and we also see how she's merging advocacy too with artistry, and something I'm big on, advocacy. And when I see that you're not just using your platform for just your own self, you're using your platform to, empower people and do many things, I think these are things we want to see. She's been doing so many strategic empowerments, and I feel like these people are not just entertainers, they are more like cultural powerhouses now. They're more like cultural institutions on their own.
I'm going to comment about Angelique Kidjo, especially because she's passionate about the same things I'm passionate about. I love Africa so much, and then I love women who do not just exist. Women who are very keen on building legacies and empowering the next generation. And Angelique Kidjo embodies that so much. You see it through her Batonga Foundation, where she empowers thousands of young people, youths, and she just makes sure that they have a good life. She tells her story not just through her songs, but through the work that she does, through advocacy. And we must celebrate her. We need people like that. We need replicas of women like Angelique Kidjo. So you see, it's beyond singing on stages, beyond hitting the studio. It goes into the communities. It goes back into Africa. This is the kind of thing that we want to encourage. So Angelique Kidjo is my star for this feature. I know for Cynthia it's Don Jazzy, but Angelique Kidjo does it for me. Women who give back to the society, they have my heart. Cynthia, I want to get your final words.
I even give my star.
But then Amidiab too. Yes, because he did something with the Gaza war. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of heart to step into that kind of precarious situation and supply. You're not just giving funds, you're providing needs to people. He did that. Diab did that.
I mean, it's very hard to accept some of those Arabic melodies.
Yes.
Globally. But this is somebody that sort of blended it with global contemporary sounds, and then people can begin to, resonate with it, understand those sounds. And he did this in a time where most of the music that were coming from that region struggled to, break into out of local boundaries.
Right.
That was the time he came out and say, okay. So I feel like this is who stands out for me here, because he has transitioned.
Oh, I thought it was done, but I get it.
Don Jazzy is like my brother.
Okay. And then there's still Master Keji that gave us an anthem for 2020. So it's like everybody has something special. You really cannot say this is the one for me. This is the one for me. Everybody just has something. If you did not dance to Jerusalem, I think there was even
that was my mother's favorite song.
Oh, really? I think there was even, how do they call it now, a remix of the song, but I can't remember by which artist now. But I think there was a work with a Nigerian artist, and many people did covers for the song. It went viral. It was a whole anthem for the whole of 2020 and even 2021. And it got to a point where if you are at the carnival and you're not listening to this song, you're at a big party and it's not playing, then you have to get home. It came out,
The time it came out to COVID-19. That time we really needed
that. We
needed something that would just connect.
And it really united Africa. It did so much. So you could see that at major African events, Jerusalem was the song for the moment. So it did that. So even beyond COVID-19, it still went on to be the favorite of the airways. But that's the much we can take. We encourage you again to do well. Get the bulletin. We've put in so much work in here, so do well to download, spread the word, tell your friends to tell their friends to tell other people that Idea Artists and Entertainers of Interest is now live. Our first edition is live today. This is our new month gift to you as our viewers. This is our Christmas gift to you. We want you to start December. Send it to somebody you appreciate. Send it to somebody you love. Tell them, read this. This is from Idea TV. Read this. Appreciate your artist. So if you know somebody who is Angelique Kidjo, Amidiab, whoever, from the feature as a star, send them this feature and let them just read about it. Cynthia, your final words before we say bye.
Okay, very quickly. I just think am I thinking? No, I'm not thinking. But I just feel like when we talk about IAE, we should understand that we are not just talking about who is trending.
Oh, no.
Yes, just like you mentioned earlier on, it's about those who have taken Africa, creativity to turn it into something of cultural power, cultural relevance, turn it into an industry, turn it into a legacy, turn it into a powerhouse, a source of empowerment, and, just a source of strength too at the end of the day. And what IAE is trying to do, what Idea TV is trying to do with IAE is very, very powerful. And that's why we're spotlighting them. And I think is the right direction to telling the African story.
Right direction to telling the African story. That's why we call it a wrap on this edition of Idea Morning Digest. Join us again tomorrow by 9 a.m. My name is Chinatu Oji and I've been with Cynthia Bassi and we are saying bye for now.